What are some of your goals and ambitions? Have you heard of a vision board? You probably have. Or it might have been something really simple in grade school where your teacher gave you a magazine, said to cut it up, take out anything that looks interesting, and to glue it on a paper and say, look, I've created a collage. This is who I am. This is who I want to be. Well, I recently recreated a vision board for myself. On here I have a bunch of positive affirmations and also things that I do want to accomplish in my life. That might be my entire lifespan until I get to that, but a lot of these things are within the next year or two. So I just wanted to read a few of these or show a few of them to you. So let me try to figure this out. Very first one, my arms aren't long enough. Over here. Oh, you can't even see it very well. That one says to give back. Generally when we hear give back, we might think that means monetarily. So giving funds to an organization obviously is a great way to give back, but I also want to explore other options, whether that be babysitting someone's kids so that they can go and have that date night that they've been dreaming about for the past 6 months. Or helping someone with their homework, or there's so many other things. So I just kind of want to adopt that as a way of life where I'm just always giving back and helping other people because I am so fortunate in many different ways. Another thing on here on my vision board is inspired learning. I love learning so much. For me, growing up, I always thought there was one job for me, and that was to be a full-time mom. And then my second option, my backup to that, if I were not to get married for quite some time, then I would become a teacher. I am 27 years old. I am single as all get out. And the degree that I'm getting is not in teaching. It's what I started out in, was teaching. Early childhood education, and then elementary education, and then secondary education. And then I made the switch. And I'm majoring in creative writing, which is a total shock and surprise to me. Absolutely. But I've learned a lot of things about myself over the past couple of years and the influence that I can have on others. I wasn't expecting to mention this in this video, but I happen to have something very interesting right here. Earlier, just a couple months ago, I published my first book. It is a baby. It's really short. It's 40 pages, if that. But I just published my first book because I realized that I'm not going to be a conventional school teacher. I don't agree with Common Core, that type of thing. So I know that I don't want to be in a physical, traditional classroom. That's not the kind of teaching I'm going to do. I also thought about becoming a librarian because that's what I'm currently doing. I work in a library. I don't quite have all of the reference training to be referred to as a librarian, but that type of learning I agree with more. I feel like that's kind of the path that I'm being drawn towards, where I teach others as they have questions and I help them to dig even deeper to find out more. So a few more things on here. A couple of words that really stand out are journey, legacy, innovators, narrative, get lost in the moment. So yeah, just going back to inspired learning. I am going to be a lifelong learner. That is part of my school motto. which is something that I've always thought I would do anyways, is lifelong learning. Like once I get my degree, I'm not going to stop learning. But very, very excited for that. Another one that I really enjoy is home is not a place. It is a feeling of belonging, love, and joy. And then right next to that, there are some things about travel. I want to learn about cultures. I love the humanities. I took a class for that this past semester, and I am thinking I might take another humanities class in the fall during my last semester before I graduate. But I want to keep on learning, and a way I want to do that is through traveling. So that's something that I want to do in the future. I don't think it'll be right after I graduate, but one thing I would love to do is to just, this might sound cliche and kind of crazy, but like live in a van, an RV or whatever for like 3 to 6 months. Just drive around the US. I've been to almost all of the western states, but I've never been back east. And I would love to travel to those places and to learn more about the cultures there. But not, just a quick weekend, in Houston or wherever. But I want to take my time there and to meet people and to really learn about them and what they do and the lifestyle, because each of us create our own culture. We learn from others, and we choose to either accept or reject the different pieces of their culture. And I think that's a really, really interesting concept where, we're all born, we're all human, and that's the one factor that will always connect us. Right now in the world, a lot of things are happening. Black Lives Matter. All these protests are going on. COVID-19. There's so many different things that are happening right now. And individually, we're each making choices. Am I going to participate in those protests? Am I going to be someone that keeps quiet? Am I going to use racial slurs? Am I going to discriminate against people for whatever reasons? We each make these choices. We decide who we're going to be. We literally each have a different culture. My culture is different from my parents. My mom's culture is different from my dad's because they grew up very differently. And then they came together and they had to talk about some of those things. And they created their family with a different set of culture and to some degree values than each set of their parents had. And now here I am, a 20-something-year-old, creating my own culture. So it's very, very interesting. Definitely something I'm super passionate about and so excited to explore more in the coming years and honestly for the rest of my life. 2 more things that I will share from the vision board, and then I'll show you the back because there is something special on the back as well. So the last 2 words are faculty and wedding planner. So I just told you guys I don't want to teach in a traditional classroom because I don't necessarily agree with some of the curriculum for elementary and secondary education. But I would love to become faculty at a university. I don't know what I would teach. I definitely feel like I need experience before stepping into a classroom and having that authority of, I am your teacher. I'm going to teach you how to do a certain thing or understand a certain thing. One thing I do want to do sometime in the future is within the next 5 years after I graduate with my bachelor's, I do want to get my master's in business administration, so my MBA. And you might be thinking, wait, you're getting your degree in creative writing, but you want to get your master's in business? How does this work? Those things don't exactly line up. They're not related. They don't go hand in hand. Believe me, guys. I know. And it's been interesting, just all the different things I've learned as I've had a few like mini businesses over the past couple years, to see what things work, what things don't, and even just like posting these videos. I don't know if this video is going to just go on to the Instagram TV or if it's also going to go up on YouTube, because both of those are platforms that I am trying out to figure out what works for me. Can I make this into a business move, or is this just something that I want to share, that I want other people to look at, like friends and even people I don't know, where I can be an influencer on one of those platforms and people can watch this and be like, okay, I'll watch this like 15-minute video of her talking about a vision board. And I'm sorry if the audio is terrible, it might be. Because this is, a hobby. This is just me talking to a camera, telling you guys what's up, what my goals and dreams are. Alright, so the last thing I'll talk about on this side, wedding planner. This is an interesting one. It's something I've been going back and forth about for a while. Not going back and forth of whether I should give it a shot or not, but whether I should share it on here. Because I know that in some communities, wedding planners are like a thing of the past, because everything nowadays is DIY. I want to have the cheapest whatever. I mean, like, I live in Utah. I am a member of the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints, and a lot of the people in that community, are just all about DIY. Create something that's super cute, super simple. You don't need this outside expense. Totally get it. Totally understand. When my sister got married, we didn't think about hiring a wedding planner. We planned everything ourselves, and it turned out really good. But I feel like being a wedding planner, especially here in Utah, could be a really great way for me to learn a lot about business and to push myself out of my comfort zone, but also to provide some really beautiful things, beautiful weddings for a bunch of people. I definitely don't see myself doing that like super long term. Maybe doing that for a couple of wedding seasons. So like obviously this year with COVID-19, things are different. And I'm also going into my last semester of school in the fall, so I'm not going to start anything now and stress myself out, because I do have a job already. But I'm thinking that next year I'll probably focus on that. That will be one of my big things for after I graduate, is finding a couple to be my first wedding, and then going from there, getting my name out there, so I can help plan, X amount of weddings for next summer. I don't want to say a specific number in case it's too much, but I would love to find a couple that is going to have a spring wedding next year, so I can start in November, December with the planning, take the 3 months or so to plan the wedding. That's generally about how long engagements are here in Utah, 3 to 4 months. And then have a couple of couples for the summer season planning their weddings. Obviously, I'd still have a ton of logistics to work out, like what would my fee be, what would the contract say, all of the legalese involved in that. But it's something I'm very, very excited to look at and to pursue. So that was like the picture of my vision board pretty much. And then let me just show you the back real quick. So, grow where you are planted. I know we all hear that all the time. And I know that, once I graduate, things aren't going to just be like, snap your fingers, you've got a bachelor's degree, everyone's going to want you. It's not going to be like that. Thank heavens. But like I mentioned, I am trying to figure out, okay, what am I going to do after I graduate? I need to figure out plans A, B, C, D, and probably E to, kind of help me decide, okay, this is kind of like the path I see, but then being flexible, which is why I like this vision board, where I'm not saying, this is my 2-year plan, this is my 5-year plan, but these are things that I want to do, because this is just the beginning, because that's all this is at this point, a vision board. I haven't set the goals behind that, and that's something that I'm digging deeper into, where I am going to set aside time at a notebook and my laptop with my Google Docs open to set specific goals and plans for each of these items on there. I also really like how on the back it talks about planning for change. And I'll just read to you real quick the 7 steps to successful personal improvement. Number 1 is to write it down. Number 2 is get real. Number 3 is to break it up. 4 is be specific. 5, save the date. 6, tell a friend. And 7, reward yourself. Which is exactly what I plan to do. If any of you are interested in me listing those out, let me know. I can do that. And that's actually an article that I got in a magazine from Texas A&M. That's one of the schools that I'm considering going to for grad school. So, yeah, that is my vision board. Let me know what you guys think. Any questions you have, any suggestions. Yeah, thanks for tuning in. I hope that you all have a great rest of your day.